everyone, it's Julie Golding Page, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here along the tidal Scudig or St. Croix River, the traditional territory and home of the Passamaquoddy, and I'm grateful that they share this beautiful place with us. So today I have a project for you featuring the Sweet Citrus bundle. So I'm going to be using the stamps and the dies, but you could make the project if you just had the stamps. You wouldn't actually need to use the dies as well. And I'm going to show some other products also and tell you about an upcoming sale that's starting June 1st. So you'll want to be all ready for that and get your retail therapy in. So let me just switch my phone here and we will continue on. Okay, so let me just flip it up here and let's go. Okay, so here is our project that we've got for today. So this is the Sweet Citrus card, and we're going to be using the colors as follows. So a couple of new colors that are brand new. So this one is Lemon Lime Twist, and this one here is Pretty Peacock, and we're also going to be using Melon Mambo. Now, I'm not sure about you, but for me, Melon Mambo is a really pretty color, but I hardly ever had the chance to use it much. So I was really pleased that it went with this card so nicely. And we're also going to color our ribbon so that we can give it a little bit more depth in terms of the design colors that we have here. And we will get started on that very, very soon. But right now, I'm just going to move all these things out of the way. And then we will talk about a little bit of stamping news. All right. So first of all, if you'd like to find me online, I have new card designs pretty much every day. And you can find me at www.juliescraftaddict.com. And I have designs there. I have my Creative Cafe group there if you'd like to join us and get a 20% discount on your future orders. And have a cross-Canada crafting community with us. There's all kinds of other things there as well. And I'm just going to show you what you will get this month if you shop with me. So I like to give out some little bonuses to people to say thank you. This is my card of the month, and it uses the Hello Ladybug stamp set. So I've stamped the sentiment from that stamp set here and a little ladybug, then I colored it in. And these little daisies are also from that same stamp set. So what I've started doing in the last couple of months, instead of sending a fully made card to say thank you to my customers, I have started cutting all the pieces for a card like this, and I'm sending it out in all of the pieces so that you have the fun of constructing the card yourself. And then you know how it's put together and you can make more of them yourself if you'd like to. So this is the card of the month, and that's what I'll be sending as a thank you, and you can make the card when you receive it. Also, when you shop with me this month, I'll be giving out this free tutorial bundle starring all of the new in colors. So here's a sneak peek of my card with the new in colors. And you may be surprised that it's so vibrant because a lot of times people using these new colors haven't made super vibrant cards, but I wanted to show that you really can. So if you like the brighter colors, then please have a look at this tutorial bundle. And all you have to do to get it is shop with me. You can just buy any amount of product from me and use this host code. And I've got it listed here. And I'll also have it in a link just here in the broadcast after I'm finished today. One more piece of stamping news, then we'll get straight to the project for today. And that is that I have these new color clubs. So Stampin' Up! Has just refreshed its whole color scheme. So all of our colors have some new ones inserted and some old ones taken out. And that's really exciting, but it can cost a lot of money to actually collect the new ink pads and so forth. And so I started these color clubs so that you can just do it gradually and not break the bank. So you can choose from the core color club where you receive 10 new colors over 5 months, or the new in color club where you receive 5 new colors over 5 months. And there's some other product involved as well, some papers, and in the case of the in color club, I'm also including the markers, the alcohol markers. So that's the Stampin' Blends. So if you're interested in that, also just go to my website, www.juliescraftaddict.com, and I've got all the information there for you. But now, without further ado, let's go to our project. So this project is inspired by our recent vacation. We were away for a weekend. Earlier in the month, we were going to go away for our 29th wedding anniversary, but then I got sick with I don't know how many viruses at once, including bronchitis, and we couldn't go. So anyways, we just got back from New Hampshire. We went to the White Mountains, and we just had a fabulous weekend there. And one of the things we did was visit a craft show. And at the craft show, they had someone making fresh lemonade and limeade. And it was super simple, just limes or lemons, sugar, and water and ice. That's all it was, but it was so delicious. And it was just what we needed because it was a 30-degree day. And so it was a full out summer day, very, very hot in the sunshine. And I just really loved the limeade so much that I thought, hey, I think I could make a card to kind of go along with this limeade. So that's the card we're going to make today. Well, hi, Kathy. It's great that you could make it today. Awesome. So maybe you can tell me in the comments, whoever is listening today and watching, maybe, or even in the replay as well, and I always look at the comments later. Let me know, do you have this set, and what have you made out of this set? Also, do you like lemonade? Do you like limeade? Maybe you have a preference. I think for me, I like them both, but I like the limeade the best. I like that extra little bit of tart. I find it has an extra nuance to it somehow. So let's go ahead and we'll start with our stamping today. So I've got a panel here, and I'm not going to be discussing all of the different dimensions because I will post a link after this broadcast by about lunchtime Atlantic time today, which is Tuesday, I think. I've been away for the weekend, so I don't even know what day it is, but yes, it's Tuesday. So I'll put the link to all the instructions, including all the dimensions for everything. So here is the Sweet Citrus stamp set. So what I did to create these limes, I'm just going to show you here. Oh, Kathy, you like lemonade too. Yes, yes. Well, I got the limeade and my daughter got the lemonade, and we kept swapping back and forth because they were both so yummy. And I didn't realize it was so easy to make them. So I think we're going to try that ourselves this summer, definitely. Okay, so what I did to make these limes was I used Granny Apple Green on the outside, and then I used, where did my ink go here? I used Lemon Lime Twist, which sounds appropriate, doesn't it? For the interior of them. So I'm just going to bring those two colors into the frame here because we're going to use them both. And I'm going to stamp the outlines first, and then we're going to put the interiors in as well. So in case you haven't seen this stamp set before, here's how it works. So I'm just going to take this paper off so we can access everything that's in there. All right. So here's how it comes. It comes in this kind of set of lime exteriors. So all the outlines, and it will just fit perfectly on this particular block. So you do need a large block to be able to do this. And I'll tell you which one this is. This is block E. So if you're looking for a large block that this will work with, it's block E. And I'll have that in my supply list too later on my website. So you'll be able to find that so you don't have to remember. Okay, so here's our Granny Apple Green. So let's do that. And what I find works the best is if I turn it upside down and just ink this up really, really well, because you want really good coverage. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to close that right away so that it's not going to create a disaster on my table here. And I'm going to use part of this panel for something else as well in this project. So I'm going to put this as close to the edge as I can. And that'll be about there. Now the only thing with these big blocks is you want to press down really, really hard. So you make sure that you get even pressure everywhere. So I kind of move my hands around and make sure I've pressed down on all the different parts, because it's easy with one of these big stamps to just put the pressure like this, and then the outsides don't really get connected with the paper very well. So let's see if I did it. Okay, that looks pretty good. Perfect. All right, I will clean up this stamp set right now, and then we'll be able to stamp the interiors with our lemon lime twist. Okay, so we'll take that one off, and we'll get our next stamp out. And I really like how they print all the images inside the stamp case now, so you can just match everything right up and you can find it so easily. I like it much better than the old way of doing it. Okay, so here are the interiors, and they fit very nicely on this block. There's no problem getting them to fit on at all. And now we're going to open this lemon lime twist, and I love this color. I think it's so vibrant, so pretty. The only thing is sometimes you can't see how much coverage of the ink you're getting on your stamp. So feel free to stamp lots on there. Just ink it right up. And we're going to just shut this so we don't get it all over. Okay. Now, sometimes people can be a little afraid of trying to get these lined up. And what I want to tell you is that they really are very forgiving. So see how I'm lining them up? We're just going to press it down, and it doesn't have to be perfect. That's the thing. So there's no one right way, and every other way to line them up is wrong. As long as you're inside the lines, it's going to look completely natural. You don't have to have uniform space around the outlines or anything like that. Just go for it, and it will turn out really well. And I'll show you what I mean here. So see all the space that you have around the interior of the limes that we just stamped? So that provides a buffer so that if you stamped the interior a little over this direction, it would still work, or a little over that direction, it would also still work. So there's no need to kind of obsess over, oh, have I got it lined up perfectly? As long as you're inside the lines on all three, and do check all three. So when you're stamping, just make sure that all three are inside the lines, and then go for it. And it'll turn out great. It does not have to be absolutely perfect, and it'll still look like it is anyway. So that's something that I've noticed with some of the customers that I have. They were kind of worried that it wouldn't turn out, and every time it was just beautiful. It turned out so well. So no need to worry about that. We don't need stress in our hobbies. I think we have enough stress in our lives already. So I just want to reassure you that it works just fine. Okay, so let's see. Now what we're going to do is do a bit of die cutting. So I'm going to cut this out first. So I'm just going to cut this. Now, if you don't have the dies, you can go ahead and you can just cut them out, because the shapes are pretty simple, really. So there's no worry there either. I'm also going to use this piece of paper, and we are going to use these tags. So these are called tailor-made tags dies, and I'm just going to show you which one we're going to use here. So I'm going to use the largest one. You could use the largest one in either set. It really doesn't matter. It comes with the two sets. And I have to say, I use these all the time. These are just so useful. They make card making really, really easy, because they give you kind of a focal point in your card. And then you don't have to wonder what you're going to do kind of in the middle of the card. It gives you a place to put your image, a place to put your sentiment. They're great for layering. And that's exactly what I did with this card today. So I had to create a card for this morning, and I had to do it after I got up this morning because we just got home last night, and I didn't have time to prepare a card in advance. So I had to create a pretty quick card, and with these tags, you can actually do that, and it works really well. Okay, so I'm going to use this mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. going to run that through. Oh, you love the tags too? Yeah, I think they're so nice. And you can use multiple tags on one card too. It's also a great way to feed ribbon through the tag without having to tie a bow, because I know lots of people don't like bows. And today we're not going to use ribbon to tie a bow. So we're going to use it in our card, but we're not going to tie a bow with it. So I'll be showing that a little bit later on. Okay, so there's our tag. So we got that all done. Now let's see if we can cut out our limes. I think this will just fit. I kind of paced this out earlier, and this will just barely fit with our die. So the dies are called the sweet citrus dies, and here's what you get. So you get some leaves, which is really nice. You get some flowers as well, and then you get this large die to cut out all of the limes or lemons or oranges or whatever you make, all the citrus at once. So I'm just going to get that one die out. So here it is, and let's see if we can position it so that it'll cut everything out for us. Now this one, because it's cutting out multiple images at once, even if you have a really steady hand, I would suggest putting on a little bit of washi or other low tack tape, and then that will keep your die in the place that you want it, and it won't create disappointment if it cuts kind of where you don't mean it to. So let's get this stuck on there. I'm going to put a couple of pieces because that's a really large die, and I really don't want it to move. So there, so I got a couple of pieces on there. All right, let's put on our plate number 2. So if you've never used one of these little machines before, they're super simple and they have the instructions right on them. So in this case, it says to put plate number 1 and then sandwich between 2 plates that have a number 2 on them, your paper and your die. And that's all that we've done. So it's super simple, and then you just crank it with your hand. And it cuts it out really, really quickly and easily for you. No complicated machinery to understand or anything like that. I like tools like this that are super simple, and this one's super portable. So I'll be taking that to the cottage with me when we go in the summer, because it's so easy to take along, so easy to pack, so small that it's no trouble to take it with us at all. All right, so here are all our limes. So they look really great. I love how this stamp set and die set work together. But again, if you don't have the dies, that's okay. You can just cut them out with scissors because they're pretty simple shapes. So it's not really a big deal. Okay, so now we have those pieces all done. We have one more bit of stamping to do. And again, I'm going to put down my much loved piece of cardboard here as padding. Looks like I'm going to need a new one pretty soon. You can tell I've used it for a lot of projects, so it's well loved. Okay, so for our sentiment, I think what I'll use is enjoy the sweeter things in life. So that's this one. All right, and I'm going to use just a regular block from a kit. And if you put it diagonally, you can pick that up, super simple, and then you're not making it kind of arc. If you take it and just place it on the block with your hand, I find it can kind of get at a weird angle or make an arc shape, and I want it to be straight, so that's why I did it that way. And we are going to use just a little scrap of lemon lime twist here. So I've just got a little scrap here. And we're going to stamp in Melon Mambo. So again, this Melon Mambo is a color I have not often used. It's a super vibrant and lovely color and perfect for coming into the summer. And so I'm happy that it is being used in some things right now. You can get some DSPs, that's Designer Series papers, that use it, and you can use it as an accent or a main color. And it's really nice to be able to do that. Nice summery color. All right, so there's our sentiment. I'm just going to clean up my stamp here before I move on. And if you're new to stamping, here's what I would suggest that you get for cleaning your stamps. Now, this doesn't look very inspiring because it's all stained with all of my old stamping I've done on both sides. But this is a Simply Chamois. It's made of this special foamy material designed for using on stamps. And all you have to do is put it under water and just get it damp so that it's pliable like this. You can wring it out gently like that and use it in a stamp box. That's what I've got here, or some other container, and just keep it closed and it will stay damp for several days for you. And you just stamp your used stamps right into it, and you can kind of squish them and twist them back and forth, and it gets all the ink off without using any chemicals. So it'll be good to use with most of Stampin' Up's inks. Most of them are water soluble, and these colored ones are. There are a couple of exceptions, but not very many. So most of the inks that you'll get from Stampin' Up, the standard ones that come in the pads like this, you can use them with the Simply Chamois and just not use any chemicals at all. So that's always a good thing. Okay, I will put that out of the way. We will close up our stamp pad to avert any ink disasters here. And now it is time to actually put the card together. So I will bring the sample one back out again. And here we go. Oh yes, there's one more coloring bit actually. Let's do that first. So the coloring bit we're going to do is this ribbon. Okay, so I'll show you the ribbon that we're using today. The ribbon that we have is this one. So it is white, and the name of it is Glittered Organdy Ribbon, and it's 3/8 of an inch or 1 centimeter wide. So here's what the ribbon looks like, and it's got these little sparkles in it, which is really, really nice. Gives a little bling to your project and a little shine. And what we're going to do is cut a 6-inch length here. So I'm going to just put this out, and I'm using my grid to measure 6 inches. There we go. And we are going to color this ribbon. So I'm just going to put it on my well-used cardboard here. And how we're going to color it is Stampin' Blends. So it has to be one of these alcohol markers. A regular water-soluble marker would not stay in the fabric very well. But these alcohol markers, if you use those, you can actually color your ribbon. So this color that we're going to use is Dark Melon Mambo. So the Stampin' Blends come in pairs. So you always have a light and a dark version of the same color. So you can do some blending if you like, or just use the two colors. So it's very simple to color your ribbon. Here we go. You'll see. So this is it. All you have to know actually when you start is that alcohol markers bleed through papers readily. So even if you had a couple of pieces of regular white paper that you'd use in your printer or something like that, they can still bleed all the way through, and they will stain whatever is underneath. So you just kind of need to know that, and that's why I'm using my cardboard. They'll also get on your fingers, and they will come off eventually, but they will give you rather colorful hands for a little while. So you might want to take a little bit of care if you're going out to some kind of event or something and you don't want to have ink on your fingers. So see, I got a little ink there, and that's all right. That will come right off anyway. Okay, so there is our piece of ribbon. I'm just going to put that aside so that it will dry a little bit. And I'm going to use my chamois for my finger here and get off any excess. Now, like I said, it will stain temporarily, but I don't want it to come off on my card. So anything that's wet, I'm just going to take that right off. Okay, there we go. Now we'll start assembling the card, and we'll come back to the ribbon after we're sure that it's completely dry. So it just takes a few minutes to make sure. All right, so let's start with our card base. And the card base is made of Pretty Peacock. All right, Has anybody worked with this pretty peacock yet? I was wondering if anybody likes this color. I find it a really nice one, and it goes with so many others. So for my color palette today, I had this pretty peacock, I had the lemon lime twist, and I had the melon mambo. And I just think they look so vibrant together. They're so summery, and I like them a lot. Now, so we'll be able to write something on the inside here. We are going to put a piece of white cardstock. So we're going to use our basic white and put that right inside. Okay, here we go. All right, so now we can write our message afterwards, or you could stamp a message if you prefer. And now we're going to build the exterior of the card. So I've got some panels pre-cut here. And in case you're just joining me now, I will be putting on all the dimensions and all the instructions for the entire project on my website later. I'll have the link here right in the broadcast afterwards. So we're going to use a panel of lemon lime twist, a panel of melon mambo, and this panel. And I wanted to talk a little bit about this paper first. Let me grab it. Okay, so this paper is called Masterfully Made. It's one of the new designer series papers that has come out just this month. And I'll just show you this selection because they're very pretty. They have so many colors involved, as you can see. And they're very, very vibrant. Look at this one. Isn't that pretty? I think it's so nice for summer. And here's a whole different take on florals. And that's really pretty too. And you've got some words in the background there too. So that's a nice bit of texture to it. And there's this one. Here's another one with florals. Very pretty. This is the one we're using today in our project. And then if you flip them over, you have some vibrant colors on the back as well that you can use. And they're completely different than the other sides. So lots and lots of things you can do with this particular paper. And the cool thing is, Stampin' Up! Has a DSP sale. So they're going to have a number of their designer series papers on sale for 15% off starting on June the 1st. And that paper is one of them. So you can go and kind of make your wish list now so that you'll be ready to purchase them at a discount on the 1st of June. And I would suggest getting in there early because lately when things go on sale, they've been disappearing very quickly. And so you don't want to miss out, that's for sure. Okay, let's put this one on first. And just like you can see on my card here, I kind of put it on at an angle. So let's do that again. We'll put it on at an angle there. Now we'll take the melon mambo and we'll put that one on next. So what's everybody's favorite DSP so far out of the new ones? Do you have a favorite so far? This is the first time I've used Masterfully Made, but I can say right now that I really like it. I love the colors. And I love that it has so many colors because that makes it so useful for so many different projects. And it's not all bright colors because not everybody's into super bright colors. I love bright colors. As you'll know if you've seen my videos before, I wear tie-dye all the time. But I also like the subtles. And this paper allows you to do a little bit of both. So it's really nice the way that they've got it. Okay, let's see if I can get that stuck down nicely there. Okay, so here we go. So that's our layered up card so far. Now we're going to return to our tag and we're going to put that ribbon in that we colored earlier. So here's how our ribbon turned out after we colored it with our Stampin' Blends Melon Mambo. It looks really, really pretty. So let's put that in there. We're just going to feed it through the tag. If we can get it, that is. There we go. Okay. So we feed it through the tag, and we've got lots to work with here. We cut 6 inches to start with. And we are going to also use some Baker's Twine Essentials. So this comes with these five rather, different colors of twine. So you get lots and lots of choice. And we're going to use the white. And the reason I'm using white is to kind of tie in with the white tag. So we have this triple color scheme going on, and then I wanted a white tag. But to kind of tie that in, we're going to use some twine to give another white accent on our card so that the white doesn't all of a sudden look like this glaring big thing of white where we don't have any other white. So we're going to just unroll that a little bit. And we're going to tie this. So let's see if we can get that tied nicely. Okay, so I tied it right there. Okay, and I'm going to tie it upside down because I find that tying upside down actually makes the bow turn out better on something like this. So let's try that. All right, and then we're just going to make the bow small. So it's just going to take a little bit of adjustment here till we get exactly what we want. Okay, here we go. Okay, that side is just a little too big. Let's pull that in. Okay, that looks pretty nice. And you'll see that I actually tied this right on the spool of twine. That is because I find I waste less. So here's my waist when I tied it right on the spool rather than cutting it first. So very, very little waste. And I find that gives you more bang for your buck. So I'll just wind that back up and I'll put that off to the side. Okay, so now we have our tag made. So we can go ahead and use some dimensionals and put that right on. So here's our dimensionals. We'll put those on. Okay. And I'll just put that on here. Okay, where do we want that? Maybe something like that, kind of in the middle. And now we can trim the top as well, because that's a little bit long. So let's make that a bit shorter. How about like that? And like that. Okay. All right, so there's our ribbon, and that's all the waste that we have out of our 6 inches of ribbon as well, so not much. So I try to keep everything as small as possible in terms of cutting lengths of ribbon and so on, just so that we don't use too much and you don't get adequate amount for your money, basically. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to take some of our limes here. So we don't really need this one on this particular project. I chose to use the other 3. So you can keep that and use it for something else. And you just want to arrange these however looks good to you. So I did something kind of like that with the other one. So I'm going to just put a little bit of Stampin' Seal on this one. And I'm going to put it underneath right there. Okay. Now this one I'm going to layer on top, and I'm going to use dimensionals for that. So I'm going to put a couple of those on. Okay. And here we go. So if you're just joining us today, I was saying that this card is inspired by some limeade that I had on a really hot day in the White Mountains of New Hampshire on the weekend. We were there to celebrate our anniversary, a belated anniversary trip, and it was a fantastic time, and the limeade and lemonade too were just fantastic. And so it made me think about using this citrus set and trying to do something that looked really summery and reminded me of that wonderful limeade that we had on the weekend. All right, let's see. So I'm going to just put this across here. I'm going to put a little bit of Stampin' Seal, and that should stick on this piece. we're going to cut it at an angle on either end. Just like that. Make it look a little fancier and more finished. And then we'll put that on. And you may have noticed too, just from the layout here, what I find works with a card like this where you've got everything kind of askew at different angles is to have the tag straight. So I've got this grid paper here. I'll move it up so you can see. There, see those grid lines? This is basically in line with the grid lines so that it's straight, so that the tag is not at an angle as well. And I find that kind of is pleasing to your eye to have this and the tag, so the sentiment and the tag on kind of straight and everything else is at an angle, and it just makes it kind of all come together nicely. Okay, so we're almost done our card here, and our final touch, just to give it a little bit of shine, will be these glossy dots. So it's from the Glossy Dot assortment, and they come in Pool Party, a Daffodil Delight, Melon Mambo, which we're using today, and Gorgeous Grape. So these are some wonderfully summery colors. This is a returning product that we had in the annual catalog last year, and it's come back again for us this year. And it's really nice that it did, because these are so pretty. And they will be just the thing for this particular card. All right, so we're going to put 3 of them on. Just a design tip that I've learned over the years from graphic design and so on is that 3 or 5 or 7 or 9, any kind of uneven number always looks better than odd or than even numbers of things. So odd numbers are always the better design choice from what I've found. So I've got these 3 here, and they kind of draw your eye down across the center of the card to the sentiment. So this is our card. And just to remind you, I will have all of the instructions and the supply list as well, everything you need to make this particular project here in the links on this broadcast, on the post later this morning. I will try to get that done as soon as I can so that you'll be able to find out all of that information. And don't forget about the DSP sale. It starts this Thursday, the 1st of June. And if you need to find out anything else about stamping news and so forth, please come to my website, www.juliescraftaddict.com. I would love to help you out with your order. If you're brand new to stamping or just to Stampin' Up, I can kind of let you know what you need to get started, the minimum things and some of the most useful things to get started in this wonderful hobby. And I hope you have a wonderfully crafty week. Okay, bye for now.